a lot of the jokes fell flat. And I'm like, you're trying too hard. That wasn't funny. That wasn't funny. And I'm like,
Yeah.
everyone's saying how great this movie is. It was, but a lot of it was meh.
A lot of it, you're like, yeah, you could go anywhere on YouTube and pretty
Yeah,
much see what the exact like opinions that they're expressing in this
yeah,
movie. Like it's not like they're coming up with anything revolutionary.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, an asteroid's coming towards the Earth. We get the analogy. Like we understand what you're talking about. Climate change. Well, we got it. Yeah, the polar bears are running to Russia right now.
So I'd watch that. I'd watch polar bears running to watch it.
I'd rather watch polar bears run to Russia.
Yeah.
That's the David Green review of Don't Look Up. Another clip, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, back to episode number 17 of the Johnny Rogers Show. My guest today is the hilarious comedian David Green. Please join me in welcoming now. With a green screen, too.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man? I like the backdrop.
Thanks, buddy.
Bold choice with the Montreal Canadiens. You're just making a statement right at the top.
I have to. I got the full. I'm not gonna. I realize I've got the pajama bottoms on, but they're fully Montreal Canadiens. But we'll pretend I'm being professional and I'm wearing.
Nice. You've got Montreal Canadian dress pants on. We'll
Yeah.
It's still Canadians. Our word for today's episode is adaptability. So why has that been on your mind a lot lately?
I just think just with everything that's going on in the world right now and industry that I'm in and having to provide income for my family at home, I've had to adapt, adapt or die, as they say. But I've been lucky, like where I have. So I've been able to use the skills that I have learned to, do a lot of different things to still keep putting bread on the table. So I've been doing ghost tours, leading haunted ghost walks around the town. I've been emceeing weddings, emceeing virtual events, doing comedy shows when I can, hosting trivia events, and hosting charity shows, just all these different types of things relating to speaking and performing, but not actually just straight stand-up comedy. So I felt I've been lucky that I've been able to do that.
When did you was stand-up comedy always where you first started, would you say?
It was when I first started, but to be honest, I started stand-up because I wanted a sitcom.
Okay, so it was kind of like acting, and then you kind of found stand-up in that, and then you found all of these other avenues of things.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool.
Well, I think I watched Curb Enthusiasm. Like, how do you get that show? You got to be like Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you got to get the sitcom.
Or you got to be on like SNL or something.
Yeah, and then they get the sitcom. So I'm like, okay, I got to be a stand-up first, and then everything spread from there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's something that I find like a lot of performers, whether they're stand-ups or whatever. It could be anything, right? Singers, dancers, name your thing. A lot of them are scared to kind of venture out beyond the main craft, right? Like a lot of people are like purists for stand-up comedy, for example. Like they don't want to stray beyond that. But like in cases like we're seeing right now with lockdown, where it's literally like illegal, you can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have adaptability is the number one thing that we should be focused on right now. So it's like a great word for sure for a whole episode.
This Adaptation is a great movie too.
Yeah, adaptation as well. Like that's been a common like theme throughout all of these like different episodes that I've done so far. People talking about like embracing change and then adapting to new circumstances as well. But like, when was the first time that you realized you could branch out beyond stand up and like take that first leap, even though it's kind of a scary thing to do?
In the past, well, I would just, when I first started out too, I made sure to try and focus on being clean. And having that being clean has opened up a lot of opportunities for me that I could perform in different, environments that a lot of people don't usually get the chance to. Yeah, so I've got to be able to go perform in schools. I've got to be able to perform in retirement homes, performed in churches, and all these things. And what's great about them too is like a lot of these things are like afternoon gigs too. So I can fill up my calendar with evening shows, but then I could fill up my afternoons with like bonus gigs. So, that's been nice. But then, obviously, when lockdown happened the first time, then I had to adapt to. It was like, okay, what am I going to do now? So I jumped on the So I'm like, I gotta get a green screen. So I gotta do first thing I do. I gotta get a green
Yeah.
screen. I gotta figure out how this Zoom stuff is working. And yeah,
What do you?
it's been fun. I know a lot of people like give it a bad rap, like Zoom shows, but
Yeah, a lot of people
it's
hate
been
Zoom
good.
shows.
Hmm. I've done a lot of bad Zoom shows, but I've done some good Zoom shows too. But I've done a lot of
Tell me
bad.
about the bad ones, David.
I got Zoom bombed a few weeks ago.
Zoom
Oh,
bombed?
a
What's a
month or two
Zoom
ago.
bomb?
But I've been Zoom bombed a few times. This was like a really creative one where he was in, just some guy was driving, like driving his car, and then people were performing. And then he's like listening to the show or watching. He wasn't talking. And then he pulls up to a red light. And then 4 guys with ski masks all come in his car, get him, kick him out the car, and they're driving away like they robbed his car. Like they obviously,
Oh my
and
God.
they booted him out the room. I want to see where this is going. They've obviously put a lot of work into this, but that was pretty entertaining. You don't get that at a regular comedy show.
No, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
I guess it's the internet, so what else do you expect? Have you been looking into I have been looking a lot lately into like metaverse stuff. And I saw the Wall Street Journal recently did a video where they sent one of their journalists in the metaverse for 24 hours, where she agreed to spend 24 hours in the metaverse. So essentially, like have this headset on all the time. She's eating, but like with the headset on, she's Machu Picchu. She's on
Yeah.
the top of Machu Picchu eating her yogurt next to a bunch of alpacas. But then later in the evening, she goes to a comedy show, and I was like, oh shit, they actually have like a stand-up comedy club, and it kind of looked like the Comedy Store a little bit too,
Yeah.
even. And I was just like, man, if these lockdowns continue, like this is gonna be the way. Because
I've not done the metaverse, but I did dabble in the virtual reality with the Oculus guy. I didn't have the goggles, but it was the Upload VR comedy show. An Australian comedian called Hayden Douglas was organizing it.
That's
So I
sick.
did that a couple of times. It was surreal. It was obviously I didn't get the full experience because I don't have the goggles, so I can't.
Yeah.
It's like I've just got the 2D screen, but just have everybody walking around and like you walk in, it's like a whole city, and then I walk up to the comedy club. And there's like my poster, like one of my is on the wall of the club before you walk in. I'm like, it's like a real place.
That's
And
crazy.
then you get in there, and people are just coming up and talking to you after the show. Like it's like, okay, this is trippy, but
And it's wild. Like it's crazy that as like entertainers and performers, we now have to. And I've heard this said a million times, but I'll relay it again because it's funny when we're branching into new forms of technology like virtual reality. But like we almost have to also know all this tech stuff as well.
Yeah,
Like you can't just be a comedian. You have to know how to like edit videos and like put together a tour poster and do business side of this kind of stuff too. What I found like I want to give credit where credit is due, and you have a remarkable ability of gathering like community. Even when I go to your Twitter page in the last video of like we were promoting for shouting out to Howie Mandel for Canada's Got Talent in Niagara Falls. I was like, this is amazing. Like it's just a 1-minute clip, but it's like you have all of these people gathered like just for you to help promote that.
I've been pretty lucky and that's why I'm proud to be a part of the Niagara community. I've been here almost 15 years now. This has been my 15th year this year, and right from the get-go, I've emceed lots of charity events and community events. I like to support, the music community and all the other comedy shows and things that stuff going on around here. And everybody said, like, you want to be in comedy, you got to go to Toronto. I'm like, no, I love Niagara. I want to be in Niagara. I can do it. I'll show you that you can be a comedian and be lived in Niagara too. So obviously I've made a lot of friends over the years, and I'm blessed that, when I do ask them for help and ask them to have my back and try and help me, they've got my back, and I'd like to think that they know that I have their back too.
And what made you like want to take roots in Niagara?
Well, to be honest, I didn't want to. Be honest, I tried. I was supposed to go to Montreal.
Actually,
well, that was the plan. Well, I grew up in Canada. I grew up in like Montreal. I moved around a bunch. I was in Montreal, I was in Oakville, and I was in BC for a bit. And then I moved back to England for 3 years. And then just before my 22nd birthday, I was supposed to move to Montreal. And then like a week before, my friend rented out my room where I was supposed to go to somebody else without telling me.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm screwed. My parents were living in Niagara at the time. I'd never been to Niagara.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come to Niagara then instead. And then loved it, fell in love with it, and been here ever since.
Hell yeah,
And
man.
they've all my family's gone. They're back in BC, but I'm still here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, what do you have planned on the horizon for this lockdown that's coming up right now? I know a lot of people are trying to go back to making comedy sketches, or just like you said, doing Zoom shows online. Is there anywhere right now in Ontario that's allowing any type of event? Is there like people
I'm
that are
not
trying to
sure.
do stuff?
I'm not sure again what you say, especially with the new restrictions that came out today. I'm not sure when this will air, but obviously the announcement switched from 10 people to 5 people because I originally had planned to do. I got this friends who have a crawl space and have set it up to like a mini comedy club, and we were going to do a 10-person audience and then a Zoom show, but have a 10-person audience, so like a hybrid of live and Zoom. But I think so. We're just going to go back just the Zoom shows for the meantime. But I've scheduled to do my 3rd comedy special on February 18th.
Hell
so
yeah.
hopefully that doesn't get pushed back. But already our January show at the venue has been cancelled. So hopefully the next show we'll be able to do. So I'm working on putting that set together, fine tuning everything. I'm still performing every night. I'm not out at the clubs, but I've got this on Zoom shows. I'm doing the shows. Last night I went for like 45 minutes. There's an app called Comedy Night on Steam. I've been playing on there and just trying out bits on there. So just trying to stay sharp, work out the material for the album. So that's my main focus, the short term of the lockdown. Hopefully the lockdown isn't too much longer than February, but video content again as well. I'm on
because that's hard if you're trying to make an album.
Yeah.
And then they cut it right. Like, oh man.
Oh, it's not, the material's not going anywhere though. So eventually I'll get to the album. It's just when is the question. But February 18th is when it was supposed to be, but we'll see.
Hell yeah. Well, obviously once this video goes up, my audience will now know who you are. So I'll make sure to community post whenever your album comes out, and we'll push people towards it. And if you're watching this now, maybe the album's already out, in which case just look down in the description below, and I've already linked to my future self giving notes. Man, I was like, I honestly didn't think that it was going to go back to like this type of lockdown, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then seeing, I'll never forget, I think it was New Year's Eve, getting that alert on the phone that Quebec is under curfew.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, not good. Good. That does not make
I'm laughing.
good.
I laugh when I get uncomfortable and annoyed. It's not funny. It's just like, what else do you do?
What else do you do? What else do you do but laugh? And like, that's the thing, is like more and more people are like, just God damn it. Like, what else? Like, what else do they want us to do?
Yeah.
And that's why I keep like, that's the scary thing too. But I keep going back to the metaverse. I'm just hooked on that lately too. That's my word, metaverse.
Yeah.
But like, that's the scary thing about it, is it seems like the next logical step, but it also feels like something that we're being forced to.
Also, I know. I don't like. Yeah.
Like you're forced to stay inside because they make outside look so scary. Like you're gonna die if you go outside for longer than 10 minutes or go near anyone. So just all meet everybody in this VR world, and that's the safer option.
Yeah.
And it's like, where is that gonna go? What are we doing with this?
No, I just want to go hang out in the woods. That's all I want to do. I want to go hike. I want to be in the woods and leave my phone at home. That's what I would love to do.
I don't want to wear my phone on my face all day.
No.
That sounds horrible. It's like those people at concerts that are always like just watching the concert through their phone.
Yeah. I saw the meme posted there. Like when you're growing up, the kids, like, don't sit too close to the screen, you'll ruin your eyes. And nowadays, everybody's like strapped on their phone, like right in front of their eyes. Like,
yeah, that's the other thing. They're all chirping like how bad blue light is for us. Now we're literally gonna have blue lights, like just pulled your eyes back, shining right into your eyes.
Yeah, it's the Matrix.
It's like, oh yeah, I mean, we literally created it. If not, at that point, it's becoming Matrix Inception. Jesus. You're also too, for people listening that have never heard Dave's comedy before, talking about you like you're not here. But you love puns. You're a big pun guy. You're the punniest guy around. When did I don't
know? I saw you already interviewed Anto Chan as well. So I don't know.
Anto's pun fu master. He'll take that title.
Yeah.
He's got a shirt and branding and everything on that too.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be
We
crazy.
didn't have a
You
pun
guys
off.
should do a duo at you guys should do a duo or like a pun off at
We did it in
Edinburgh.
Brampton like 2 years ago. Oh no,
Oh,
3 years ago in Brampton at the one of the weed lounges out there.
that's
We went head to
hilarious.
head.
Probably Greenleaf or something.
Yeah, yeah, Greenleaf. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that place was awesome. I
He was
went,
good. He got. Oh no, I was there twice. One time we had the pun off, and then another time I was headlining, and he didn't get raided. But the guy like
was
came,
hosting.
shut him down. He was screaming at me, saying, "Get
I was
out of here!
hosting.
Get out!" And I was like, "Oh, what's going on?"
I remember that. I was like, yeah, I was hosting that night and you were headlining.
Yeah, look, oh, it's crazy. I'm like, man.
Yeah. And the inspectors this is when weed was it still illegal? Or was it
It was
legal?
before weed was legal, I think.
It was
I
before
think
weed
that
was legal, I think. Yeah. Or it was right in that weird like
Yeah.
middle zone. So are weed lounges allowed?
Yeah.
Like it's smoking inside. I don't know. And so the health inspectors were trying to come in, and the owner just stands in the doorway, and he's like, "Get out!" Right, like 5 minutes into your set, and I'm just off to the side, like, "Oh no!"
You said it a little bit louder than that, though.
Yeah. Fucking just screamed at them. They're like, "You can't obstruct justice." He goes, "I don't give a fuck. Get out of here."
I'm like, listen to my puns.
Yeah. And then you're like, "All right, everybody."
Yeah,
Back to the puns after we almost got raided.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous. But that's comedy. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you're gonna be in those situations.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny that you were hosting that show. I was just bringing up like, you're actually that show.
Yeah. I remember. I'll never forget that show. That was hilarious. Holy shit. Just so intense. You're just like, what's gonna happen? Like, do I need to go
I'm already paranoid. People, the whole time I'm in there, I'm paranoid. Oh my God, my worst nightmare. I'm gonna get arrested. I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
I just want to tell some jokes. That's all.
Because you were headlining, so I was like, I don't even need to do any more time. Like, I'm gonna come up at the end and be like, all right, thanks everybody. See you like next Friday or whatever the next show is. And so I was like, I'll just keep smoking. And then so yeah, when they came through, I was like, fuck. Just completely baked. Man, I'm so happy that we were able to like take advantage of those days.
Mm-hmm.
When before not even before, that was before COVID, but I mean like before weed lockdowns. Because the weed lockdowns before COVID lockdowns were fucking crazy.
Yeah. And the shows paid a lot of them better than regular shows. Like for just Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and like every Niagara Falls, Hamilton, Brampton, Toronto. Right? Yeah, take advantage.
All the weed shows were always packed. They were always so good. The audiences were always so fun. And there was like they were a little slow on some stuff, but you understood. You're like, it's fine. You know, you knew that some stuff was gonna be delayed or whatever, but you could play off of it if you had good enough timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, for regular people who don't smoke a lot of weed or never went to any of these lounges before COVID lockdowns, there was the great weed lockdowns. And that was when the government made weed legal and everyone was like, yes, that means we can do whatever we want. And they're like, yeah, but that also means you have to abide by our rules. Because when you're underground, you don't care about any of the rules. Smoking inside, you're like, what? We're smoking weed. It's illegal. What do you care smoking inside? But when you're legal and you're abiding by all the bylaws, now smoking inside is against the bylaws. So it's like that shut down all the weed places.
I remember I pulled up at one in Brantford one time. It was like behind a bridge on a back ram. Like, this can't be. We're gonna die. We're gonna die right here. Where are we?
That's the
thing,
though.
It's just the most chilled out vibe ever. It's like everyone's just hanging out thing. I'm like, okay, but outside, I was like, oh my God, we should not be here.
Outside, you're like, what is this place? What the fuck is going on here? But it sucks because it's like they're forced into those places. They're forced into those situations or those types of real estate, if you will, because they need to hide. Like it's the only way that they can kind of stay open now, which is kind of remarkable that the government was able to just clear out any black market type of businesses like right in a row like that. First, you get rid of all the weed places, swap them with government weed places. Then COVID lockdowns, shut down every single business, take away all cash. Cash now is going to give you COVID. So everything goes online through the bank so they can track everything. It's like, motherfucker.
No.
I haven't seen anything like it. Have you been following like much of the UK news and like kind of what's going on over there?
I try to avoid everything as much as possible. I'm like,
You're like,
most everything
distance
I say,
myself.
I don't believe most of it. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, tell me eventually when there's the big announcement of thing. I'm okay, rules I got to do. But till then, I don't want to hear the daily case count. This now,
Yeah.
this is. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear it. I want to avoid it. It just
Yeah, it
it
stresses
upsets
you
me.
out for
Doesn't
no
upset me. I
reason.
get. I'm like, enough.
Yeah, it just frustrates you for no reason.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is it's like they make it like a center point topic because everything else is canceled. So it's not like you can talk about what happened at the Leafs versus Canadians game last night because there was no fucking game. You know what I mean? Like that's what's so frustrating about it.
Yeah.
What have you, because this is going to be like our third one now, so at this point, so what have you found is like, or have you found a way to kind of, I don't know, distract yourself from thinking about it?
The previous lockdowns, a lot of hiking, Like we just got
Outdoors.
I have a 1-year-old daughter, so we've been like literally every hiking spot around the Niagara region, and there's lots of them. We took it to every single one. We like tried to check off one by one. Now it's snowy. It's still, yeah. Even yesterday we were out. She got a little sled toboggan thing, so I was dragging her around that, taking her around.
Nice.
Try and get outside as much as possible. You don't want to be cooped up in the house, scrolling on TikTok. It's like that's the TikTok, more TikTok just because I want to go put out more videos because I got more time. It's also spending more time on it. I'm like, okay, this is so bad for me. I'm like, enough, too much already. I'm like, throw the phone away. I'm like, get away from me. But, try and get outside, try and write. Especially the last lockdown too. It just is Zoom. Zoom was huge because we have a weekly writing workshop with Jimmy England, Mitch McBodry, Heather Fudge, and Ryan Sim. So for almost 2 years now, we've been doing that once a week. So that's what's helped. I've written a lot of new material during the pandemic compared to the last 5 years of comedy. And we played a lot of Jackbox, a lot of online games. So still hanging out, even though we're not allowed to go meet in person, we're still been hanging out and socializing. So that's been keeping things interesting.
Yeah, Jackbox is man, it's so much fun, and especially for comedians, that game is hilarious to play with. Quiplash is so
Quiplash, a lot of Quiplash.
I was playing Fib. Have you played Fibbage?
Yeah.
I'm absolutely terrible at that game.
Yeah, I love how every single game too is a pun. It's all word. Every names of everything. Everybody bashes puns all the time, but whenever it comes to naming something or a headline or something, it's like you need people like us. You need us.
Every marketing, like if you look at every marketing campaign too, it's always something like every season is always some form of pun to sell their product as well.
Puns are the highest form of literature, according to Alfred Hitchcock. It's Alfred Hitchcock's quote.
Damn. He's just selling his own brand right now, ladies and gentlemen. Puns are the highest form. There's the clip. There, we got the clip.
There we go.
That's what this is all about, right?
It's like the Michael Scott from Alfred Hitchcock, and then underneath dash David Green.
David Green. Yeah, that'll be on the thumbnail. Alfred Hitchcock dash David Green. Nice. Yeah. I've been just hopping on doing more podcasting for myself too, because I moved out of Toronto to.
So you're in Ottawa now, right?
Yeah. I just moved out to Ottawa just because I was like, I didn't want to say I saw another lockdown coming, but I was like, I don't think that this city is good right now, or at least good for me right now. Just a lot of the places that I love to go to were just closed, just completely out of business. And so I was like, fuck, I'd rather be somewhere where it's A, cheaper rent, and B, nicer, you get more for what you pay for, and which is the benefit of moving to a suburb of any smaller type of city, Niagara Falls, or if you go to Mississauga or Ottawa or Quebec or what have you. But I don't know if I really, really am hoping that the lockdown subsides and then we don't have to. I know I'm beating this topic like a dead horse here, but it's all that's on my mind here. And we're talking about adaptability, and this is what we're in right now. If you want to switch topics, David, you can throw one in.
No, you're all good, buddy.
But I feel everything is going to be online. I don't think these big cities are going to be as big of a deal as they have been for so long.
Mhm.
Especially like real estate market too, like that can't possibly hold. There's like places there are buildings that are like half empty, like houses that are fucking selling way under what they're going on the market for. And then more and more people moving out to like Niagara. So it's like you almost set yourself up in like a good spot where it's like you already have this base community in a location where people might even be flocking to.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, a
you
lot of
could
people
grow
are
your
traveling.
audience for when things do come back to normal.
Yeah. And I think with the online stuff as well, it has opened up a lot of stuff. Like even when we were back and all shows are running again, like this last year, I've done quite a few Zoom and virtual events. Like even though they could have been in-person events, but like I've done quite a few, and there've been a lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them quite lucrative too. Like it's been like a new stream of revenue income which didn't exist before, and now I've got these, especially when you're hooking up with like corporate events and things like that, and organizations and universities and afternoons and seminars and business topics, and to have that as a new opportunity to try and chase those gigs down is like, man, that's a bonus. So at least something good came out of this goddamn thing.
Yeah, right. I think that's the important thing is to pick out all of the best parts because,
Yeah.
like I said, if it does snap back to normal, or when it does snap back to normal, and we now have all these extra streams of revenue or extra opportunities that we can add on top of it. You could do a stand-up show in the metaverse at 2 o'clock and then go out to the actual real verse comedy club in person and get those laughs in person, because there is nothing like that actual like face-to-face feedback.
Yeah.
My
That's what
God.
I'm kind of hoping that we do, if we can get back to shows by the time I do my album, February 18th, if it's like just opened up. So it's like the first show back and everybody's super, because I remember when I first
You'd
show
be
back after
primed
the
and
first
ready,
lockdown,
man.
like everybody's like in such a good mood and so excited to be there. And it's just like, there's electric in the room. So I hope we get that energy in the room when we do the recording.
Yeah, because if you can get a recording right as it's like one of the first shows back,
Yeah.
people are just like raring to go out. Like they just can't wait. So that room gets like packed out. Everyone's on their fifth booster.
Yeah.
Just,
Even this room too is cool. We had it in the first hardtail lockdown. They got the big glass walls, but they had like 15 of them, and they were in between every single table. So it was like a mouse. You got to
oh
walk
my
in between all the things,
God.
and like, so it'd be
Yeah, it's
it's
literally
kind
like a
of cool though
map.
to do a show with like recording and have all that. Because when are you going to have a comedy special with that experience and that setup again?
It really time
a neat
capsules
thing to
it
look
for
back at.
sure.
Uh,
Yeah, you're
I
like, I
imagine
know right when that happened.
yeah. I remember Ian Sirota was doing a show with us, and he's like up there and like the windows, and he peeks his head in between the two. He goes, "Here's COVID," and it was so funny. I died laughing.
That's pretty good. Did anyone freak out, or
No, he was still
pretty
far
chill?
apart.
Oh, okay, it was still far enough away that you
Yeah,
were like, all right, I could take
yeah,
this.
but it was funny. He's a funny dude.
I'll
And a
never
Habs fan
forget.
too. Shout out to Ian Sirota.
Yeah, shout out Ian Serrata. I love doing those like shows at Showtime though in St. Catharines, because
Yeah.
they were just wild. Like I'll never forget the one time I came out. There was like that guy who dressed up as a baby, and then someone threw like processed cheese at him.
Yeah, that was actually my wife's idea. My wife asked. that was that was the big craze at the time. Throw cheese at a baby.
Oh my
She was like, and
God.
for years, Jeff and I have teamed up and done crazy stuff together. And he'll say yes to anything if it's something's entertaining and like thing. I was like, sure, let's do it. My wife's like,
That's a
should
good friend to
ask Jeff to
have.
dress up as a diaper and throw cheese at him. I'm like, okay, I'll ask him, Jeff. This is what my wife said. He's like, sure, let's do it tonight. I'm like, okay.
He's like,
And
man,
it
I
was
got a
funny.
diaper
It was
around here
funny. Everybody
somewhere.
laughed. What a legend, Jeff Drew. Also a Montreal Canadiens fan. Well, I'm only friends with Habs fans, it looks like.
Well, I don't watch hockey, so we'll be fine.
There we go.
I did like the Leafs growing up, but I think it was only because it was like a family thing, like other family members, like you know that kind of family peer pressure where the rest of the family enjoys one team, so you just like, I guess that's my team. You should have no individuality. And then later on, when the Las Vegas Knights became a team, I was like, no, that's my team now.
Nice.
Mainly because I was like, oh, that's like a Disney story.
Yeah.
Like, it's this team made up of third stringers all come together, and then their first year they make it right to the finals.
I was in Vegas when they were in the finals, eh?
No
It was
way.
my brother's bachelor party, so we just happened to the timing of there, and it was cool. They had the city was crazy. They had the big, the Statue of Liberty they have
Yeah,
there. He had a giant Vegas Golden Knights jersey, like
that's
on the Statue of Liberty.
crazy.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, cities whenever there's like I remember being in Ottawa when I think it was like Stanley Cup. I don't know if it was like finals or semifinals. It was the Sens versus Anaheim.
Yeah, the finals, yeah. And
Yeah,
that was back when I was in England, so yeah, 06 or 05 or something.
yeah, something like that. I remember being in Ottawa, and yeah, there's like an energy to like the city whenever there's like their team is in the finals. Same thing in Toronto when the Raptors were in the finals. There was like people standing outside on the streets, like looking, like watching the game on like a little 13-inch television at like a Wild Wing or something. You're just like, oh, this is so crazy that everyone wants to watch this game right now.
Yeah. That's what we need. We need something like Toronto to get to the final right now. We'd be like, screw your lockdown, screw your restriction. We don't care, and we're all come together. I mean, everybody's fine. They'll say, see, everybody's fine. We're all good.
You need that giant sports distraction.
Yeah.
It's insane how much that helps. Just that little bit of like competitiveness between like, a Montreal Canadiens fan and then a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. That used to be like what you would get your energy out on. Yeah. Your extra little like a little male aggression that you have to kind of exhaust out so you can go about your day.
But honestly, it changes it. It makes you feel. So I know, I don't go on hockey too much. You're not a hockey fan, but Montreal Canadiens got to the Stanley Cup final earlier this year, and that was. I know I just had a kid, and they say, "Oh, your best moment in your life," but no, the happiest moment of my life was when Arturi Lehkonen scored for Montreal Canadiens to go to the Stanley Cup final. You have no idea how it was. Like I almost exploded with joy. I could not stop laughing and crying and uncontrollable laughter and giggling. It was what a ride that was. Those few weeks, and England making it to the final of European Championship at the same time. It was a magical time. They brought everybody together and just endorphins, on overload.
Yeah, like I got all the sports banners up.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
That just reminded me too. I remember when I was in Asia and I took an Uber and I was talking to the driver. I was recording podcasts at that time too, and I always had these like different questions that I would ask people, and I thought like there's a bit of like a language barrier here, so I'm just gonna try to ask them like one or two of these questions instead of doing a podcast with these strangers.
Yeah.
But I was recording this one guy and I was asking him like what his like kind of favorite moments from life were basically, and he said like, oh, the birth of my son, and then he was like, and then standing on the edge of a volcano, and I was like, what would you say, like the volcano was ahead of your son? And he was like, yeah, it was a volcano. Like he was like, I was on the edge of a volcano.
Yeah.
It's way cooler than watching a birth. Like he was just so real with it.
Well, I love my kid, but
I love my kid, but it was a volcano.
I love a volcano.
It's fucking lava, dude. You know how cool it is? Just as cool to be as like, my team fucking won.
Yeah.
Do you bet on sports, or do you do any like the fantasy?
I don't bet. I don't do scratch cards, lotteries. I hate to lose. I go to the casino sometimes.
I hate to lose.
I get so angry when I lose. I'm like, screw this game. Never coming back ever again. I lost $20. I'm like, ah.
That's the thing, is like you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Like if you want to gamble, you have to also be okay with losing. So if you just hate losing, then you'll never have a gambling problem. Because you'll never gamble.
I used to work years ago. I used to have to walk through the casino to get to my car because it was like a shortcut to come through the casino.
What a tease.
And I was just leaving, and I just put my dad wrote a book. Yeah, my dad wrote a book called 32 Red. So I just put $5 down on 32 Red quickly because I had it in my pocket. And then the wheel spinning. And then I realized I got an extra $5 in my pocket. I'm like, screw it, I'll put an extra $5 down there. So $10, and then it came in 32 Red. So I won like $360 and literally just walking through. I'm like, yes, that was a good day. But I'm like, okay, not spending anything else. I'm not coming back here because I'm up and I'm staying up.
Yeah, you just need one of those stories.
Yeah.
I had something like that too, where I was like, I'm gonna just spend this $20 at the blackjack table. That was it. Whenever I go into a casino, I go in with the idea of like, I'm gonna lose this money. If it's $60, if it's $80, whatever it is that I decide to spend, but I'm like, I'm gonna spend this $40, or I think it was $20. $20. I'm gonna spend this $20 on blackjack. And then I won 200, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, nice.
And that was it. I cashed it. I'm like, I'm not playing around with this.
Yeah.
I
I did hate the wheels, the one-arm
Those things
bandit.
seem like
Oh
such
my
a
god,
scam.
I just so like nothing ever win. I've never won on that ever. It's just
No,
well,
ever.
oh, there's that money gone. Oh, there's it gone.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
not fun at all. Like, why do people do this? This is just so. Oh my god. Well, at least make
Yeah.
it heavier so it's more of a workout for me, so I can get some like muscles going. Or like, give me
Yeah, at least
some
do something.
redeeming feature.
At least add like a physical aspect to it. Maybe
Yeah.
just two things like this. You know, you'd be pumping.
Yeah.
Now I see
It's
people do that all the time. They're just
yeah.
feeding their change into these machines, and it's just eating it. It's just taking it.
Yeah.
And then they'll lose a bunch of money, get up, and the next person will sit down and hit it and win all the last person's money. That's how it works every single time. Those places are
Yeah,
dangerous.
we're just gonna open a casino. Open a casino. That's where the money is. Yeah.
Here we go.
I'll
Virtual
be-
casino. Let's combine all of these. We'll open up a stand-up comedy club in the virtual casino.
Yeah, nice. I gotta message my uncle Philip.
Yeah, it'd be way easier to do
Philip
construction
Green.
too.
I don't know. I made it. That was a very too niche casino reference. The guy from the
Philip,
movie.
what was the reference? Yeah, you're gonna have to
Oh,
explain
Philip
it.
Green. He's the guy that puts up the. He's the front guy from the movie Casino. He's Kevin Pollock. His name's Philip Green.
I watched
He's the
that
guy,
movie
he's
too.
the
You think
legitimate
would've
guy,
got
the
it.
face of the casino, while the gangsters are running it in the back.
You think I would have got that too? I haven't watched that movie.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I watched Saving Private Ryan last night. I was every
No, I've
time
never
I've
actually
watched it
seen
so
that movie.
good. It's so good. Like it's one of the best movies made. I think just so powerful.
I never actually watched that movie. You know, I watched recently that Don't Look Up.
Yeah. What
Did
do
you
you think?
see that? A
Yeah.
lot of mixed reviews on that.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I understand. It's like what's going on right now.
Yeah,
and
I get
this
it.
thing, but like a lot of the jokes fell flat, and I'm like, you're trying too hard. That wasn't funny. That wasn't funny. Like
Yeah.
everyone's saying how great this movie is. It was, but a lot of it was meh.
A lot of it, you're like, yeah, you could go anywhere on YouTube and pretty much
Yeah.
see what the exact like opinions that they're expressing in this movie. Like it's not like if they're coming up with anything revolutionary. It's like, yeah, an asteroid's coming towards the Earth. We get the analogy. Like we understand what you're talking about. Climate change. We got it. Yeah, the polar bears are running to Russia right now.
So I'd watch that. I'd watch polar bears running to Washington.
I'd rather watch polar bears run to Russia.
Yeah.
That's the David Green review of Don't Look Up. Another clip, ladies and gentlemen. That's great.
That's gonna be the name of my album.
That's gonna be the name of the album. Polar bears running to Russia.
Yeah, I think so. And me on a polar bear, riding bareback.
Yeah, Putin style.
Yeah,
You know, he has like all those photos of him on bears or mooses, whatever it is. I wonder too if anyone's gonna like clip this and then Photoshop something behind you because the green screen is just right there.
Oh god.
Oh no, you're just leaving it open season. Sean Sirianni did the same thing. He did with like just the regular green screen, no added virtual background, and I was like, you're leaving yourself.
I would have put something on myself, but I don't know how to do it. Well, like, in fact, just bear with me.
Hey, there you go.
Hey! You know how many times I've done that terrible joke over the last year? You know how many times? And I hate myself every time I do it, but I keep doing it. I have whatever.
You gotta find new ways to make people laugh on the internet, man. There's gonna be somebody dying right now in the comment section.
I was playing with the OBS stuff, you know. Like years, I want to get like you say something and then the thought bubble comes out of your head. So I'll say something and I'll think something else, and so that's what I'm working on right now. And
oh man,
try to use some different stuff. But
I wonder if you could get like one of those are they called Elgato? They're like these little press pads, like little keypads, and you can you can pre-program
Adam Growe did one when I did a show with him, and like he'd have like multiple cameras, so he'd like do the joke, he'd set up, and then he'd press the thing, and he would come into like a shoot face on his face, and then he'd do the punchline there and go. It was so effective. I'm like, I wish I thought of that. Like, it's like I'm stealing your idea if I do it now, but I'm trying to come up with something different. You know, there's lots of
you'll add your own creativity. That's the best thing about like watching and learning from other people is because like it helps you adapt better. You know, you can see like all the mistakes. That's why the tutorial videos on YouTube are so great. You're like, oh, what do I need for a podcast? You're like, you can YouTube how to podcast. There'll be like 100,000 videos of people telling you the exact equipment you need. Even I remember like at the start of lockdown, because my whole job is like YouTube based, and I have to use a teleprompter for like a lot of my scripts where I'm reading like entertainment news. and whatnot and pop culture stuff. But like, I was like, how do if everything's closed and I can't like afford like a proper teleprompter, because big teleprompters are not cheap.
Yeah.
Like if you look on Amazon right now, a teleprompter minimum like $500 or something crazy, and like the good ones. And I literally YouTube like how to make a teleprompter for free.
Nice.
And then just,
There's like 17 videos all about.
yeah. There's a million videos right there. Just tell you exactly how to do. You're like, oh yeah, just grab a piece of glass out of a picture frame, and then like cut a piece of cardboard like this, and just staple it like that. 2 seconds, I had built a teleprompter, but it was only because it was forced into that situation to adapt.
Yeah.
Coming right back down to adaptability there.
Have you seen the movie Adaptation?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's a Charlie Kaufman wrote it, directed by Spike Jonze, like the being John Malkovich guy. It's got Nicolas Cage, and he plays twins, but it's such a good performance. Like, it's really good. Meryl Streep's in it, Chris Cooper.
Damn, is that recent?
No, it's a 2006, 2007. It was like a couple of years after being John Malkovich came out.
Comedy drama?
Yeah, drama, yeah. And it's like, me to see,
bro.
says it like it's a true story. It's not a true story, but they play it off as if it is. And he plays himself, like he plays Charlie Kaufman, the writer.
2002. It's just showing like pictures of Adaptation. 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, damn. Not bad.
Well, 2002. I was all way off.
Yeah, Spike Jonze. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love all the different words too that people have on their mind, and like, just like wanting to vent about the word adaptability and adaptation. Like, do you have any like other thoughts on that word that you want to get off your chest? Anything else?
So I'm not much of a venter. I'd rather vent about having to come up with the word adaptability. I'm like, I gotta come up with the word. I don't want to do that. I just want to talk about Montreal for a bit and movies. So no,
Go for it, man.
I'm not going to vent about it. I like that I have the opportunity that I can, do these different things. I get bored doing the same thing over and over and over. And like,
yeah.
Not that I'm bored of just doing stand up every day, but it's fun to try different stuff and host this type of show and do a video type of thing, and then do some film stuff and then some improv stuff. And, it's fun. That's why we get into this sort of thing. So
yeah, and that's like
get more of it paid more is what I was like.
Yeah.
Learning all this stuff, but it's like, okay, we're doing it
The
for free.
more you do, the more you make, man.
Yeah.
Or the more you can do, I guess, is the thing. But like, because this is a podcast, honestly, too, is like my chance to just be like, not, I don't have to be fucking on 24/7. It doesn't have to be like funny every 2 seconds. Like, it can just be a normal conversation of us just like hanging out, talking about Canadians, or you talking about going on hikes with your daughter. And then it's like, it opens up audiences to, because here's the thing is, I listen to a lot of podcasts and I realize more and more, I'm like, man, I feel like I know these people. Like, it's weird. Like, these entertainers and these performers that I listen to, or, not even comedians all the time that I listen to, just podcasters. But I'm like, it's because you listen to them so much, and it's just like open, long form conversation. But I think that's like, if we can create kind of like you've done in Niagara Falls, create that kind of community online as well with audiences, it's like more the better. And there's this great value in this kind of like putting out this content where we're just talking about what's happening in our life at this moment,
I found like, even like I've been trying to on the TikTok, trying to grow on
short form.
It's short form. But again, I find it's the building a community and getting to know, and more you can be yourself rather than acting and trying to do the jokes. But like, the more you can be naturally yourself, and people want to look into your life. I mean, that's where the people are growing the most. But it's
just showing a genuine side, I think, more often is better, because we've just been faced with so much bullshit and highlight reel kind of posting that for too long. Like, it feels like it hasn't been that long, but like, Instagram's been around for a long time. All these like kind of superficial ways of putting content out there, like even just the idea of putting out like your stand-up bits, just those quick little clips. That I remember when that was like, don't do that. People
Yeah.
were like, don't put your stuff out there. Like, you have to wait until you tape a special and then you release the content. Like, how dare you release stuff
Yeah.
that hasn't been worked on? Like, the very idea of that was like, oh my God. And now it's everywhere. And you
Yeah.
can't look anywhere without seeing someone's stand-up clips.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how fast stuff changes.
Mhm.
Just,
Yeah. That's
because
a
it
big thing
becomes a new trend,
too, just not caring about the people. Oh, don't you? Oh, you shouldn't. Can't believe you do that. Or cringe. Oh, you put them like whatever. Like nobody cares. It's all in your head. If you those, like, and you do what you gotta do. Like, yeah, I put out, you know, just be vulnerable too. Be vulnerable. People enjoy vulnerability, I feel. And people don't want the phony. You're like, oh, come, we've got a great show coming out tonight, and it's going to be so good. And I'm like, no. But if you can say, oh, I just got stabbed in the foot, and now I can't pay my kids if I don't come to the show. Be like, oh my God, I actually feel bad for him. But if it's like, oh, all this work he's put on to promoting the show, we don't care about the fake stuff. If it's real,
yeah. If it's real, we're gonna come to your, especially if somebody stabbed you in the foot. God damn, I'm gonna come support that show.
I always like with the long form stuff and the podcast stuff. I always scared I'm going to say something that's going to be misconstrued another way, and I'm going to get cancelled or something. Like something bad. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I said that. It's like there wasn't.
Nobody listens to this show.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, I'm trying to promote shit.
Yeah.
No, I just like, man, I feel like I don't think there's nobody gonna get canceled.
Yeah.
We're not saying wild stuff out here. I don't like lockdowns.
Crazy
And people are like,
guys.
oh, I love lockdowns. I'm offended. Someone's always gonna be offended. So it's just like not even. I don't even really look at the comment section, to be honest.
I love your album wall, by the way.
Oh, this thing here.
Yeah, I just saw the Smothers Brothers too. I didn't see that till just now. Love the Smothers Brothers.
Yeah, there's more up there and down. I should take a photo or something and post it online so people can see all the ones I put behind me, because it doesn't get in all the camera shot. But I love collecting comedy albums because they're like usually so hard to find when you go to a record store.
I felt so, I Have a Pony behind you, the Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
So my buddy Tom Holman is a comic in Brampton. He bought that from a record store, found it, and then Stephen Wright was coming to St. Catherine's, and I wanted to open for him, so I did like a post. I'm like, can I borrow your album? I'll take a picture, and I'll make a first Facebook post like, dear Stephen, blah 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 blah. I'll make you feel bad. Like, give me a spot. I deserve a spot. Blah, blah. I'm like, this thing, and then I put it back in my car. And it was just in the back window of my car. I didn't realize it was there for a couple of days in the sun, and the sun like melted and like curved the album, and I felt so bad, bad. I'm like, you never even got to listen to it once.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know. So I'm sorry, Tom. If you're watching, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
Tom, you can borrow this one if you want to.
Yeah,
it's a good album, man. Or you can find. I'll send you a link online. Yeah, that Stephen Wright album is so good, dude. That's the thing I realized too with these. Like, there's something to just like the physical record, like that heat right there is the example. Is like you have to protect that thing, you're like, I spent money on this, I cherish this like music that's on here, or this like comedy and the jokes that are on here too. I'm going to protect this album, I'm going to keep it in a cover, and then I'm going to put a plastic thing over that. Now music and shit is just like on our phone, and so it's like inconsequential. We don't even really think about like taking care of that kind of stuff, so we don't value it as much. I think we value it as $9.99 a month, like whatever we paid for it with our credit card. But like, if you see your shit melting, you're like, fuck, I spent $25 on that. I was worried about that too. The Don Rickles one that I have down here, there's like a baseboard heater, and I could see the bottom was starting to kind of bend a little bit. I was like, motherfucker.
It's a great one of the best gags in the movie too. The Woody Allen film, Play It Again, Sam, where he's getting all the stuff ready for Diane Keaton. And I can't remember what happens. Something happens, and he's like, he's all nervous and panicky, and he's got a record in his hand when he's putting music on. He just goes like that to shrug, and as he does it, and then the record comes flying out of the sleeve and across the room and smashes something. It was so good, so funny. It's great physical comedy.
I love physical comedy. It had its heyday, and I think it needs to come back.
It'll be back. It'll be back at some point. He's gonna find somebody who can do it. Yeah,
that's true. You need somebody new who can do it just as good. Who was the best like physical, like what would you say, physical comedian?
Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, Jim Carrey lately.
Jim Carrey has to be up there, right?
Who else? I'm sure there's a ton of people that I'm just not thinking
Just
of right now.
contorts the way he just like contorts his body and
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
Just like, God damn.
But again, when I first got into it, was the writing is what, like with the Stephen Wright. Like I followed Stephen Wright from his reading his jokes. Like I did, it was years before I actually heard him perform and heard how he delivered his material.
Wow.
I found his jokes on the internet. I'm like, who is this guy? This guy's hilarious. And like just down a rabbit hole of reading all of his different jokes. And George Carlin's books. Again, I never saw George Carlin perform, but I read his like 2 of his books. And just how the writing and the words, that's what I fell in love with. And
Yeah, it's great when you can find a comedian where you don't even need to necessarily hear their voice, like just the words on their own is funny. That's how you know you're like, that's a great joke
yeah.
writer. Just like, what was that
Funny
one?
though, with like Facebook now too, like when you read some people's Facebook statuses, but then you read them in their voices too. Like just like Mark Trinidad, for example. Like today, I had a post and like read it, and I read it in Mark's voice as I'm like.
I do that with like Snoop Dogg whenever I see a Snoop Dogg tweet. I'm like reading his voice. I love it's funny, yeah, once that voice enters your head, you can't really like get that out. So it's interesting like reading it prior to hearing like Stephen Wright's voice because it's such a distinct voice. So he's like, I broke a mirror the other day. It's like they say it's 7 years bad luck, but my lawyer thinks he can get me 5. like it's just so good. Like when you hear him. It's like Candle Factory burnt down the other day. Everybody sang happy birthday. He's like, I worked at the fire hydrant factory. Couldn't park anywhere near the place. Like this is such smooth monotone delivery, and it's like if you're reading it, you're like, yeah, this is fucking genius. This is hilarious. And then hearing him, it just elevates it to that next level.
Yeah, so it was like Mitch Hedberg too. Mitch Hedberg, yeah. I'd say, is hands down my favorite comedian, and just on the paper, they're all genius and brilliant and hilarious. But then when he performs them, he just takes them to the whole new level.
That's the best. That's the best part, in my opinion. I love writing a good joke, but like, there's nothing better than like when you find a way to kind of say it in your voice. You know, when you can give it kind of your little like, your David Green, your like, find the perfect pun for what you're doing, and it's just like, oh man, I'm excited for you to be filming the special. That's really, really exciting. You said it's your third one too?
Third one, yeah. I did I got it here. Mangoes Bananas in 2004. No, 2006. No, it was 2014. 2014. I was a CD.
Like 1998.
And then 2016, I did that was 2014. 2016, I did a live stream comedy special, which is, I don't know who did them before me. I was one of the first. I was like way before people were doing live stuff. Like usually when you have an album, you record a couple of shows and edit them together and later and do all that. But now I'm going to do it live, stream it live, and bing, bang, boom. I did that in 2016. This will be the first one I'm doing where I'm actually recording it and filming it, and
nice.
I've always just done the one show, so it's gonna be fun to do 2 shows.
And then you can kind of get the good like pick between them, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna do like the mix and match of the things. Like,
not gonna edit it too
which
much.
one was the best one? I'll just.
I see. Yeah,
I'm gonna pick one of the other. Yeah.
That's probably the better idea. I mean, you'd only really do that if like God forbid, knock on wood, like the show is perfect, but one person yells out on a punchline of this joke. You know what I mean? Like then maybe you cut to the other stuff, but at least you have it. Like I think recording 2 shows is like a great idea.
With the live stream one too, there was a guy in the front row who was, wasn't heckling, but he'd like chiming in. Like thought he was helping, kept talking like all the way through. And I'm like, buddy, you don't understand.
You're not helping.
Like, you gotta bet. Like, and on the time, like I was like not annoyed with it, but I'm like, okay, it's like okay. Then I actually watched it because I was planning my set list for the new album, so I want to make sure there's no jokes that are on the other. So I had to go back and watch the other 2 to write them all down to make sure there's none of this repeats. And I'm like, okay, I actually dealt with the guy and handled him. Like, but then he added to the show. Like, some things like worked a lot better. And there's some things where I'm like, okay, he said that. This is what I should have done. I could have played it off this way and done that. I'm like, now I know what I should have done, but back then I didn't. But You know, you never know.
You cut it in right now, like you just film yourself on the green screen. And, well, this is what I think of that, sir. And then cut back to the crowd laughing. You're like, hey, that didn't happen.
If you laugh,
you didn't boo me that bad.
YouTube, how do I fix my comedy special to make it actually funny? Right.
That's so funny. I bet that's a tutorial video, I guarantee you. I want to, for the people watching on YouTube, also thank you, people watching on YouTube. Shout out those people. They're the real heroes here, getting us all those watch time hours. Yeah, go check out davidgreencomedy.com. Just do you throw stuff up on here as well?
Yeah, I actually just put a blog up there the other day, and I saw
Nice.
I had 50 hits on my site in the last couple of days, which I was pretty happy with.
Hey. Yeah. So the site's hacked. Sometimes I pull up people's stuff and they're like, "Oh, I haven't done anything with this." And I'm like, "Okay, no worries." But yeah, go check out davidgreencomedy.com because there's actually stuff happening on there. You can go to the blog section and read David's blog. You can follow him at David Green Comic on Twitter and check out the YouTube as well. Because I always tell people to go to the YouTube. You gotta push people towards your YouTube, man. That's where all the real money is. So they say. Is there anything else you want to like tell people or promote?
Follow if you follow. I've got the most followers on TikTok, so I'm David Green Everybody. If you're on the TikTok, I post there. Yeah, a lot of content on there, but I don't post anywhere else. And yeah, we've got an album coming out February 18th. So if you want to come out for that, or go and check out the website when it does come out. And
will it be on the website? That's where you're gonna like stream it to?
No, I'm probably. I haven't planned that far ahead. Maybe the details of what I'm gonna do with it will be on the website. Whether you can stream it on there or buy it on there.
Do a Patreon, man. Do a Patreon. Make people pay for that.
Yeah.
Or some sort of service like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the David Green. Everybody, again, if you're looking on YouTube and you want to check out his TikTok, right there, I'm gonna link all that in the description below.
Thanks, dude.
But David, thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it. This is a great conversation. And as always, everybody, don't forget to leave me your thoughts in those comments down below. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, thank you so much. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review. That always helps. But until next time, everybody, stay classy, or at least try.
You've been listening to The Johnny Rogers Show. New episodes air every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.